praise the Lord. Good afternoon if it's afternoon. Good evening if you're finna go to bed. This is the Book of Racq podcast. I'm Racq. How are you? How you feeling? You feel alright? You feel okay? Is everything alright? I don't know why I had to sing that, but it's alright. We're here now. First things first, I'd like to discuss the fact that I'm overdue for a hair appointment because if you're watching, you'll see the Harriet Tubman ministry that is currently in operation because it's time. And once payday comes after tithes, next on the agenda is my beauty maintenance. I'm tired. And, we got the nail ministry going. Shout out to Being Loved because my friends are absolutely amazing. But next on the agenda is this. I can no longer look like Emancipation Proclamation. Can't do it any longer. I need to be free from slavery. So I thank God. I've already been looking at my next styles. I want to be big fine for Valentine's Day. I want to be big fine for the next couple of weeks. I want to be fine for the rest of my life. I no longer want to look like bondage, okay? I no longer want to look like the trials and tribulations that I have faced, okay? I want to be fine. I want to be fine. So I got about 5 more days. I'm going to wash it before that, but I got about 5 more days of looking like what I've been through. And after that, I'm coming for all y'all. My lashes, everything going to be on point. At 84% of the time, I'm going to be fine. That 16%, I'm going to be relaxed and chilling. But that 84, I'm going to be fine. And when I'm outside, I'm going to be fine because I'm tired. I don't want to look like this no more. But anyway, I just had to say that out loud. I'm tired of looking like what I've been through. I'm tired of looking like the struggles that I faced. No, I'm tired. So I'm coming stepping. Anyhow, the Lord is kind. I hope y'all are good. I hope y'all feel good. Hope it's been a good week. We haven't talked in a while. And shout out to y'all that watched last week and listened to last week's episode because I got all kind of messages. And I appreciate y'all crying with me. I appreciate y'all laughing with me and just being present for me as I journey through these days, weeks, months, I told y'all from the very beginning, the very first episode, that this would be my personal journal. And that is exactly what it is for me. It's my personal journal of, overcoming truth, transparency, all the different things, healing. And I'm excited. It's a breath of fresh air to get it off of me. And then to also be able to help people in the process. So that in mind, I have something I'd like to discuss. Particularly to the single girlies. Come to the mic. Bring yourself to the phone. Bring it to yourself, to the MacBook, to the iPad, to whatever you are listening to this on. If you're watching this, bring yourself to the screen. I need to have a conversation with you, single girlies. And girlies who are wanting a relationship, girlies who are on the verge of going into a relationship, all different things. Bring your face to me. Bring your face to the camera. I got nails now, so you're going to hear this all the time. Bring it here. So, a lot of people have been like, oh my God, when are you going to talk about Bay? Is it time yet? Are we going to discuss him? We're going to talk about him a little bit today. A little bit. So, I am in period poo, the greatest relationship of my life. Let's just say that out loud. The Lord is kind. And the girl is slapping love, slap sprung on 10. It don't matter what's going on. He called. My phone vibrate. Here I go. Excuse me, y'all. My man calling me. Very much. Not a situation shit. Not a little whoop. No. It's my man. He is my man. Okay? Relationship. And the girl is happy, okay? Period. The girl is happy. So one thing I have always wanted in this season of my life, and one thing I ask God for, is that whatever comes to me relationally, anything, relationally, business wise, whatever, I want it to all be organic. I don't need anything forced in my life at this point. Like, if it's not just flowing together, then no, it's a hard no for me. Like, I need things to flow organically. I don't want to feel like it's work to do anything or to get to anything. Now, there is work involved once you get in a situation or once you're in a relationship or building anything. But if it feels like I'm forcing my way into something, no, absolutely no. Take me off. Take me off. Take me off. Don't want it. So he and I, it definitely started organically. Now, I was crushing on him for years, and we knew of each other, but weren't really like conversing like that. Time passed. We ended up connecting at the top of this year, and it just grew into a really great friendship. And so constant check-ins, constant like, how you doing, turned into really long phone calls, turned into really long FaceTimes. And then eventually it was like, you like me? Because I like you. Do we like each other? And before we knew it, it was very much bae energy. And we formally got together, or he officially asked me to be his girl in September. So it's new, it's really new, but also the story has been going for a couple of years now. So I'm very happy, and I love it here. And he is like my absolutely best friend in the world. And yeah, all that. But with all of that in mind, I need to have a conversation with my single girlies about what this will look like when you encounter your person. All right. Switching gears out of love land real quick. I might go back a little bit because he made my heart flutter. But hardcore business. Pay attention. All right. Number one. Before he came into my life. Oh, Twigs. Before he came into my life in the capacity of a bae, of course, he was already like kind of a friend. We weren't having like heavy conversations, but he was around. But before he became bae, I had to remove myself from all other men. Bring your face into me. All right. That meant that did not mean that I put a shawl over my head and said, no one look at me. That's not what happened. But what I did do was adjust all of the friendships, all of the male relationships that I had in my life, whether they were platonic, whether they were friends, whether they were homies forever, whether I had a crush on them. It did not matter. I had to put boundaries, hard, firm boundaries in every single one of them. Every single one of them. And not because I was looking at my boyfriend or wanting who I wanted and was like, yeah, in order to make room for him, I gotta move everybody. But I knew I wanted to be married. I did know I wanted to be married. I did know I wanted a husband. I did know that I was coming up on a place where I was tired of doing situationships, little wannabe relationships, people playing in my face. Like, I was tired of all of that. At this big grown age, I'm tired. Like, if you're literally not here to be here and be with me, build with me, pour into me, be my partner, and like only want me in a monogamous situation, then we're really not going to be able to do this. I can't do it. I don't have any more just giveaway. I have too much that I hold and too much that I carry to allow anybody else just to take. Whether that's in a relational capacity or just in a friend capacity, I can't do it. So there were friends, homies, whatever in my life who I had to make adjustments with, because they had access to me that would have been reserved for my husband. Not physically, but the amount of time spent, the amount of phone calls, the amount of texts, the amount of things that I shared with them verbally, what I felt like, all these different things. I'm giving them access that would be devoted to my husband or to my spouse. So then if he were to come or try to come get me, what space or what capacity does that leave him with? Because I've now given that access to somebody else. So I had to make an adjustment. Did it hurt me to have, did it hurt my, not hurt me actually it didn't hurt that much. I got to a point where I no longer felt anything. I was just like, cut. And those who understood, and those who didn't, they didn't. And but like I had to make hard decisions to be like, okay, this is how I feel about where we stand with da. How do you feel about it? And like allow some people I gave conversations to, other people I was just like, you don't deserve a conversation. All right, God bless. But I had to do these certain things. So for a period of time, cutting people off, back to back, or making adjustments, and doing some internal work, and then if necessary, and if God allowed, going back into those friendships with new perspective, new thought processes, and new boundaries on both sides, because we're adults and we can still be friends, but there's just hard boundaries, and not because anything was like flirtatious or whatever in the past, but just having hard boundaries about what our relationship looks like if we're going to be friends. And because I want a husband, and so you all are not it, that's clear. So let me make space for the one who is. So I did that. And by the time I cut the last person off, or by the time I made had the last conversation, here came Bay. And I mean almost seamless as far as timing. It might have been a week, 2 weeks. So I didn't even feel the cut as much, because he came right in there. Now, but at that time, he just came in as a friend, so nothing was going on, but the timing is pertinent. Of course, there were other people that dates and things after that, sure. But clearly nobody else lasted after he came in as a friend, because he made his presence known. And so that was that. But I had to have some very hard conversations. I had to have some very hard reality checks with myself. Number one, that was the first thing. And do some really heavy analyzing with myself about things I had dreamt up in my mind, things that I had decided in my mind, things that I had said were going to be that weren't actually going to be the case. So I had to deal with all of that stuff and get all that junk out. So yeah, that happened, right? Bae comes in, we progress, whatever, we end up in a relationship. And within the first 30 days, it was almost like the Lord took me and put me on an examination table and under a microscope. And here came all of my flaws, like a flower, just blossomed out. Flaws out on the table, guts just all over the floor. And I'm like, all this time, I'm very much like, I'm not being treated well. I'm not doing and I deserve better. And I deserve a man that loves God. I deserve a man and rehearsing all these wonderful things about how great I am and all the things. And I've done my work. I've done my healing. I've spent time myself. I ain't been in a relationship in 3 years at this point. Like, so I know me. I know what I need. And like rehearsing that and doing all of this and very much so broken and so not okay. And I did not realize how bad it was until I was loved properly. And loved in a godly type of way. Single girlies, all the girlies, bring your face to me. And I heard somebody else say it the other day. We pray all the time. We want a godly man. We want to do like, he has to love God. He has to love God more than he loves me. Like, I want him to be so devoted. Okay. We want that. We definitely, and it is actually, if you are a woman of God and if you are trying to be close to God in any way, you need a godly man. I'm sorry. There is no way around it. If you try to do anything else outside of that, you will be frustrated at some point. I'm sorry. You just gonna be frustrated. You gonna be frustrated. Either if it is, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry to tell you, I have lived it. Please learn from my experience. You cannot force nobody into a church. You can't force nobody into a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. They have to want it for themselves. Now, you can, if they already have had an encounter with Jesus and you come alongside and like push them further towards God, that is a different conversation. But if they like out doing their own thing, and then you just like, well, I love God, so we have to love God together, and they just going along because that's what it's not going to work. I'm telling you. At some point, your peace gonna be disturbed so bad. Just hear me out on that, okay? So, but if you do get a godly man, you have to fully understand that he hears God. And hears God pertaining to anything that is around him, including you. So he's going to pick up on things that the Lord just like really quick whispered, like, hey, let me give you a little hint about this one right here. And so now he got all the hacks and information and tidbits because he's having active conversations with the Lord about you and y'all. Listen to me, okay? Just hear me out on this. But the first 30 days, literally, it was like all of my icks were exposed. And I felt so naked and so, ugh. And I just wanted to like crawl up in a ball because I was just like, number one, this man finna leave me because I am a wretch undone. Are you kidding me? I'm crazy. Like, this man finna leave me. He has done all this work. He is whole. He is like, and here I am just a mess. I am complicated. I'm just all over the place. Look, this man finna leave me. Like, over the top, losing my mind. I'm calling like big sisters. I remember calling one in particular. And I was like, he can't. And when he would see things in me and then address them, it would be very much like, okay, babe, listen. I see da 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 da, but here's what I feel like. And it would be so calm and so like loving that I would just be like, okay, like you in trouble. But it's like, he ain't fussing. He'll keep saying, babe, I'm not fussing. Sweetheart, please hear me. And I'll be like, okay. Like, and not crying on the phone with him. But as soon as he would hang up, tears just falling. Because like, he actively said he is not leaving me. But also like, girl, get your stuff together. Are you crazy? This man will leave you. Because you are crazy. Stop. So let me just tell you parts of, not all things because no, but parts of where I struggled very early. And I talked about this on my TikTok, but I needed a moment to go in depth with y'all. So particularly, and it's complex for a lot of single women, but particularly I've learned for us older siblings, or if we're like the only girl in the household, or we were the oldest child, any of those things, or have spent any amount of time as a single woman, that means that you've done a lot of things at this point by yourself, right? You've done a lot of things on your own. You've done a lot of things without needing a man, particularly. And so you have built up this about you and this air about you that I can get it for myself. I don't need no man. I cook for myself, I clean for myself, I pay my own bills, I get my hair done, I get my nails done, all these things by myself. So like if a man gonna come to me, he gotta come correct and he gotta be able to do all the things that I already can do for myself, because why do I need you? Type energy. Okay, all well and good. And it's great to have your own. It's great to be on your own hustle. If you got multiple streams of income as a woman by yourself, especially if you got kids and you hustling and you on your girl, get it. More power to you. I'm so pro sisterhood. However, when you encounter a man, he is then trying to figure out how to be a man for you. You already a man. You already playing the role and now cannot allow a man to come into your space to be what you want for him to be. So then he becomes a person you just call if you need handiwork done, or a person you just call if you. Anyway, you just. He becomes an accessory. Thank you, Holy Ghost. He becomes accessory, like not actually a partner or somebody that can help you and help come alongside you to take off the load, because you're so like up in arms. And one thing he told me very early, he was like, babe, I can only fight walls for so long. I had erected these walls. Like, can't nobody get to me, can't nobody hurt me, can't nobody harm me, I'm on myself. And whether it was friendships, relationships, any of the things, I had erected this because I had come into covenant with the thought that people are out to get me. Real statement. I had come into agreement with that thought. People are out to get me. Nobody means me any good. I am not safe. So I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to be in my own little silos. No one can get past these borders. Because the moment you're trying to get close and trying to get in close proximity, you're not safe. Something is wrong. It's a hard no for me. And he said to me, babe, I can only fight walls for so long. Like, he's actively trying to sit here with me while I get, and some work you have to do for yourself, but some work, if it's the right person, they'll sit right there and let you talk it out, get it out, and try to get to the root of why are we this way until you have an answer. And so a lot of moments he sat right there. And I was just like, I can't cry in front of him. I can't do this in front of him because then he gonna see all my... Yeah, when you with the right person, they're going to see all of your things. You are no longer, you're protected between the two of you, but you're no longer like hidden and like, it's no longer the glitz and glamour. It's very much a naked situation. You're uncovered. And they have to see that from you, and you have to see theirs. Because if it's going to be of anything of substance and you're going towards long-term or marriage, eventually, if you don't see it today, you're going to see it at some point, especially if y'all living in the same house. Their things are going to show. So you have to become vulnerable and comfortable with the idea of vulnerability. So that was a whole thing. It's still a thing for me, becoming okay with being vulnerable. And being okay with just letting my guard down with him. And so that was thing in itself. But I remember the other thing, and it kind of goes with vulnerability. I remember him coming to visit me early on in our relationship. And actually, this was before we even got in a relationship. He would just come and visit as a friend just to check on me. And we had gone to the store. We went to the grocery store. And At that point, I've been in my apartment 9 months. And I moved myself into my apartment by myself. I think I had one friend that came and did like one trip with me from the storage unit to get like heavy stuff. But majority of the work I did it myself. I was used to doing things myself. So, excuse me. I went to the grocery store, came back, and I'm getting all the bags out of the back seat, and I had a lot of groceries. I do like monthly grocery trips, so I had done my big trip. So I got all these groceries. And he looked at me and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "I'm getting the groceries." He was like, "Leave them down, go upstairs." And so I was like, "Okay, I guess." So like I had to, number one, be okay with him getting my bags and trusting that he was going to get everything, not leave everything, and that he had it. But I still chose to take, I think, 2 or 3 bags with me, and I had my purse and something else. And he looked at me and said, "You carrying a lot." And when he said it, I heard it twofold. I heard it as I literally had it. You didn't have to carry that. But also, like, at what point are you going to let me handle it? Like, handle all of it. You're taking on things that you don't have to. I'm literally here to help you in life. But you're so used to having to hold on to something, you can't even let me take all the bags. You have to at least have something. So I had to have 2, 3 bags in order to feel comfortable, in order to feel like I was worth something. Y'all, I had to be doing something. I had to be busy doing something. I had to be grabbing something. I had to carry it for myself to feel like this strong woman, like that I was able to do anything that I set my mind to when there is literally help looking me in the face. But I don't trust him enough to take on that weight. And I also don't have, I'm too prideful to let my guard down and say, "Here, I need help." Oh, okay. We ain't got that kind of time, do we, today? So yeah. So we get in the house. This continues. We get in the house. And so I have the bags on the table. I instantly go to put stuff away. And he started to help me. And then he saw I was like just on the go, on a rhythm, just doing what I do. He pulled out a chair and sat there and looked at me and said, "Do you need help?" I said, "Oh, no, I'm fine." And he said, "All right." And he walked out the room, went somewhere else. And so while I'm trying to put groceries away, I'm like fighting back tears because now the Holy Ghost beating me up. This man literally here to help you. And you cannot just sit back and relax. You can't just be. He's here to assist you. You asked for somebody to come assist you. You asked for a partner in a relationship. You asked for this. I brought him to you, and now you literally can't be still because you're so used to having to do. You're so used to having to get, you're so used to just, he's here to help you breathe so you can sit. And so we had to talk that out once he left and he got back to home and all that stuff. We had to talk about that before, and this is before we even got in a relationship, before we were even official. These things were coming up about me. And he said, "Babe, I want to be a man for you. I want to be the man for you, but you have to let me be." I had to make a choice to say, "Raquel, Are you going to allow pride to keep you from one of the most beautiful things that's ever happened to you? Because then you'll be bitter in 30 years. And early on, I would always be like, even if, Lord, even if this is not forever, even if it's not my husband, I just thank you, Lord, that this is possible. That this was possible for me. I used to say that all the time. Mama told me to stop saying that because at this point. But what I did not want to do was to continue putting my foot in my mouth and having to backtrack because I begged, pleaded, and prayed for this kind of person to be in my life just for me to ruin it by my own hands. By my own hands. Because I couldn't relax enough and trust God enough that he was not putting me in danger. That's a whole nother thing. Because when it came to him, when it came to us, I had at that point written down so many prayers, so many thoughts, even before we got in a relationship, because I knew how I was feeling about him. And I know God hears me when I pray. And so I was very clear with God. Like, I need you to make these you need to tell me exactly who this person is in my life before my heart, my mind, my body go down the street with thoughts, plans, or anything else. Because y'all know, girls, we will plan a wedding in 4 days, maybe less, when we feel like we have met the one. We are quick. Go down the street. I said, Lord, before I even go down that pathway, please make this very clear about who this person is in my life. Please. Because I know what I want. And I know what I desire. And I feel like he does too. He wants the same thing that I do. But before, this ain't what you want for me. And I would caution you to pray that. And not pray that from a place of, it isn't what you want for me, but also God. And not fully mean it. No, mean it with your heart and your soul. I still pray it. And not necessarily, I pray it just across the board about anything in my life. Let me just say it that way. I pray it for anything in my life. Anything in my life that is not for me, that I'm not assigned to, that if I ain't supposed to sign a contract, if I ain't supposed to have a business group, anything, I pray it on a regular basis. Just to make sure we are constantly filtering out anything that ain't supposed to be here. Because we already got things we gonna face. I don't need extra demons around. If they, no, get them out. But early on, I prayed, Lord, if this is just a crush and we supposed to just be really great friends, make it clear. Now my prayers in regards to us have turned into, Lord, purify my thoughts, purify our actions, purify our behaviors, purify our desires, purify us, better our communication, strengthen us in these areas. And like the prayers change for us to be better humans separately, but better adults together in a better covenant together. Anyhow, all that, I went on tangent. Anyway, point is, I am now cautioning all women and men too, honestly, to do your work now before you get in a relationship, before you even like somebody, before you even get in a place where you're like, I want to be with this person. I think I want to go on a couple of days. And going on a date or two, there's nothing crazy about that. But the moment you feel in your shanana, like this may be more than a little date, start having some very honest conversations with God. Start doing some journaling. If you're not already, like, go talk to somebody and just assess where you are. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, that being said, once I realized I was in a kind of place, did I check myself into therapy? You better believe I did. You better believe I did. I got another session this week. I'm not playing with y'all. Lady, please come help me. This man to leave me. Nope. This is it for me. This is it for me. I done told the Lord and everybody else. God forbid this ain't it. I'm getting a dog and we going to travel. That is the end of that. I got enough nieces and nephews. If that is what, baby, I can't do this again. I cannot do this again. And not like this. And as invested as we both are at this point, absolutely not. Nope. End all, be all. Right here. I've already made up in my mind how I'm hyphenate my name. Do not play with me right now, okay? No. That's my whole husband. You can hang it up. Anyway. Yeah. Yes, I went to therapy. Absolutely went to therapy. And doing additional work to make sure that all bases are covered. Constantly journaling, constantly writing out things, constantly praying. And here's the other thing. When you are with the right person, they are going to constantly put you in a place of prayer. Answer the Lord. They're going to, because when you're with the right person, all right, girlies, bring your face. Here we go. When you're with the right person, you're going to do anything and everything to make sure that they are protected and y'all are protected. Which means instead of, with these other toxic whatever relationships, situationships, you call your homegirl in a minute or text your homegirl, girl, let me tell you what the nigga did, and run off the list. But when it's your person, you're not running and telling everybody what y'all got going on. Somebody asks, how's Bae? He's amazing. He's wonderful. He's the best person I ever met in my life. And he and I don't have problems like that. We really don't. But on a hard day, if we have one, and somebody asks me how we doing, amazing, wonderful, the best person I've ever met in my life. Because what you're not going to do is get little nuggets of information and then come back, well, she did have that problem with, no. As far as you're concerned, this is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And it is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. No lies. Yeah, no. I'm not going to give you that satisfaction, that access. Absolutely not. So what you do in place of that is constantly go before God. My prayers have sounded very much like, now listen, this your son. And before I cut him, no, not that bad. But very much like, here's what I won't settle for. And here's what I won't do. And here's what he wants to do. And very much like top. And in those conversations, the Lord gonna cut me, because I'm usually just barking and loud and wrong. That's the first thing. But two, he also gonna, I promise you, I kid you not, this is the hack, I'm telling you. The moment I take it to him, when I tell you by that evening or by the next day, he done brought it up to me. He's like, babe, I was thinking about, were you really? Appreciate you, bitch. Yeah. I'm not finna fight flesh with flesh. The weapons of our warfare, listen, not carnal, not flesh. Anything go up? Excuse me, Holy Ghost. I'd like to bring something to your attention, please. Because if I'm in the wrong, let me know I'm in the wrong. But if I am not, holler at your son for me real quick. It's a hack, I'm telling you. But that only works, girlies, bring your face, if they know the Lord and have a relationship with him. If they do not, that don't work for you. If you are dealing with someone who doesn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, or is just spiritual, it's not gonna work for them. Not gonna work for them. This hack, I call it the hack, only applies to those who have a relationship with Jesus Christ. Sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings. It's not gonna work any other way else. Sorry. Anyhow, yeah. So I just advise, if you are wanting a relationship, if you are wanting, and I remember when my girls telling me too early on, I was having a struggle moment just in me and like wanting to be better, wanting to grow in a certain area. And she told me, she was like, I remember she's married, and she was like, I remember starting therapy because of my husband, or wanting to be a better wife for him. But you can't go to therapy for somebody else. You got to want it for you. Or counseling or whatever it is. And so for months, really years, I had it in my mind. I need to get therapist. But I never got around to it until the man of God was like, let me tell you what I'm not dealing with. And I was just like, excuse me, ma'am, might I book an appointment with you, please? Quickly. Oh, you said I ain't out? Don't worry about it. Baby, when I say I called him in with joy, babe, I had therapy today. Guess what? Oh yeah, get this up out of me. Go talk to somebody. Absolutely. But it did start I had the desire to go to therapy first, but the unctioning or the push to go came when he was just like, listen, oh, you ain't got to tell me twice. I'll go. Ain't gonna leave me, black man. Absolutely not having it. So I went and got myself together, period. But anyway, praise the Lord. You cannot stay in therapy for somebody else, though. You have to want it for yourself. You have to want to be whole. You have to want to be okay. And pride will tell you that you have it all together and that you're really okay and that you don't need anybody and need anything and that you are just good by yourself. But let me tell you, please don't let a couple or one bad experience with a trash person change your entire perspective on all men. And same for men with women. Don't allow your experiences with past people, even if they did you so wrong, and if they, drug you through the mud, do not allow those experiences to adjust how you feel about love actually being real and pure and true and can be godly and can be yours. If that's what you really desire in your heart of hearts, it don't matter the age. You ain't got to be married by a certain age in order for it to come. It's going to come when it's supposed to come. Like, let it be that. But don't allow the trash experiences that you've encountered to dictate where you are or what you really want. If that's your heart's desire, God can do it. But you got to also do some heavy work to get that trash off of you, out of your heart, out of your body, out of your mental. Because you're going to be triggered by stuff that they're not even doing. They're not even doing the same thing, but it reminds you of something else. Or maybe the way they said it reminded you of somebody else and something else that you experienced. That's not fair to the present person that you're dealing with, because you ain't dealt with blah, blah, blah. If y'all got issues, if you and the person that you're with right now have issues, let it be because y'all presently have new issues. Not because you ain't dealt with your trash in the past. Go handle that. Go handle that. Go talk to somebody about that stuff. You don't want to bring all of that into your new experiences and things. It's going to push y'all back every single time because you ain't dealt with that stuff. Go deal with that. I talked about it on the first episode of this season. Like, you literally can be in big joy, amazing moments, and be underlying with grief and sorrow and hurt and pain. Because you just waiting on stuff to go badly. You waiting to be disappointed. You waiting to be hurt. You waiting on being traumatized and triggered. Because you didn't handle that. You still mad at Johnny from 5 years ago because he stood you up on a date. And so now the man that you with don't call you after 3 hours. You think he done left. Or you still triggered that the last person you were texting back and forth didn't hit you back, and then he never said anything ever again. So the moment you don't have a phone call by 7 p.m., you playing Not Gonna Cry by Mary J. Like, there's got to be a line. You got to go handle that. They don't deserve it. And same, you don't deserve whatever they haven't healed. Like, work that out. Some things are going to come up in your relationship. But let them be brand new situations. Don't let it be stuff from, ugh. Handle that. Go handle that. Seriously, I'm trying to help y'all. Whew. And I said, like I would always say, I can't stand when new couples get on lives and podcasts and be like, this is what you don't do in a relationship. But listen to me. I'm talking to the girlies. I ain't talking about relationship. I'm talking to the girlies. I'm trying to help you. I don't want you to be fighting battles that I was facing because I didn't know how to, one, communicate, express my emotions in a healthy environment and not feel like they're going to use them against me. That's one. That's two. But three, I didn't know how broken I was. Go handle that. Go handle that. Go talk to somebody. Even if you feel like I ain't got no issues, I ain't got nobody to talk about, go think of something to talk about. And watch how you get to the root of some things that you ain't even think of. Hurry up. Hurry up and tell me when you did it. For real. Because there are men out here. There are really good men out here that want to love and want to have a wife. And want to, do it a godly kind of way. But you got to be ready. Woo-woo, you got to be ready. So go handle that. I love you, though. Real big. Real bad. Y'all my heart. We'll talk soon.